The troubadour tradition is a traveling tradition. It's a tradition of the troubadour goes from village to village, bringing messages and stories through songs and other avenues. So that was important for us to go out of the major cities and get into the very small places. In terms of language and in terms of context, we're totally out of our environment. And we are the outsiders here. And so there are a lot of moments where we feel, I guess you could say separated or, a little awkward in that way. But then as we stay with it and work through a performance, by the time we finish the performance, we feel really close and, in a sense, bonded to the people that we played with. And the response of the people has been great. And each time it seems to get better, so something's happening here.
Project Troubador was developed to provide an opportunity for performers to travel to areas of the developing world, to use their performance as a way to bridge cultural, racial, ethnic gaps between us Americans and them, the folks that we go visit.
Initially, we modeled our organization after the 15th century European troubadours, but what we learned once we started to do this was that this tradition of troubadouring exists in many cultures worldwide. And we essentially are trying to modernize this approach, make it contemporary and relevant by having it work interculturally instead of within a culture, which is really its more traditional root. I'm very definitely among the people who believe that music is a universal language. And in that sense, I'm saying that when you don't share a common language, music is a way that you can truly communicate between people without speaking. Okay.
It's a great challenge to go to a place where you don't speak the language of the people.
Porque é desafio muito grande chegar até um lugar onde pessoas não falam a mesma língua que eles.
And yet still try to communicate with everyone.
E mesmo assim tentam uma comunicação.
And in the old tradition of the troubadour, the language of music is the language of everyone, as well as the language of humor and dance.
We tend towards acoustic music and really acoustic folk music. That's a pretty loose term, though, for a variety of traditions coming out of the United States.
And we try and stress that there's also this strong tradition that rock and roll didn't just appear from the clouds, that it actually was built up through a long development of American music. So we're trying to put things in a kind of context and sort of fill out our profile as a people and a culture.
We found there's a lot of value in taking a clown with us on the trip because the clown can round up a crowd and convey the idea that we're just going to have a really good time.
I think clowns have this universal ability to turn the awkward moment, the sort of silence of not sharing a language or not having very much in common. The clowns have the ability to turn that awkwardness into something funny, something that we can all share.
I can walk through a marketplace, pick up 3 oranges or 5, and you can have this moment, these moments of life that are a funny little miracle that look what this person can do. It's not showing off for me because it's more of an introduction. It's like a handshake.
Yes, yes.
So much of what we do is on an intimate, personal scale that it is more important than the brilliance of the performance to have a human being who truly wants to be there doing what we're doing.
One of the most memorable jobs that we had was playing at this children's hospital in Manaus.
There were several of the kids who really seemed to respond great to the music. There was one little guy, I guess, who was suffering from cerebral palsy or something, and he was in a wheelchair, and he just had his mouth just wide open with a great big grin, and I made a lot of eye contact with him and enjoyed his response to our performance.
We like to find places to play that are accessible to all segments of the population. We don't charge any admission. We're right out there in the public. We play in hospitals, schools, cultural centers, marketplaces, orphanages, you name it. Anywhere where there's a lot of people that want to listen.
Troubadouring is really a traveling tradition. It's about moving from one place to another. Therefore, it's very important how you move.
We try to choose a mode of transportation that's going to offer us the most possibilities to play while we're en route.
Being on a boat is certainly a magical place to be. You sort of float along through this world that's distant and far away from where you're from. It also puts you together, it puts you among a small group of people. It allows you to sort of take the time that you have cast together and really utilize it. Often this involves rehearsing while you're driving along in a bus, especially if you're trying to assimilate some of the music that you're hearing in one of these countries. Well, being on a train, first of all, an exceptionally rhythmic experience from a musician's point of view, a great way to travel. But also the ability for us to travel from car to car and to be able to have these very close contacts where we're really just performing for one or two people. The intimacy, once again, this is just very central to what we do.
Spontaneity is really a key ingredient in what we use to build up our recipe for a Troubadour trip.
I can remember very specifically this incident on this train in China where we were cast together with some musicians who were also members of the Chinese army. Unbelievable beauty, just an unbelievable electric environment where we were swapping songs in this tiny little cramped space. You could barely even move around. And they were encouraging us and we were encouraging them. It's just absolutely electric, and it's just burned in my memory. Every Troubadour trip is a two-way experience. It's not just us presenting our performance for the people who we are visiting, but it is also what we find memorable in their culture and what we bring home, and sort of how we enrich ourselves.
It's exciting getting to know another culture, and we as troubadours try to bring that excitement full circle back to American audiences.
One of the high moments was the ceremony that we experienced a couple nights ago in the village of Troubador.
Of all the places that we could have been in Brazil, we were there that night, and it was the place to be. We couldn't have been any luckier.
That was great. I felt like I was really seeing into something that was very unusual, and I didn't understand it for the most part, but I didn't feel like I had to understand it because I could feel it.
One of the byproducts of being a troubadour is the change that it affects on your perspective. A lot of the people that we've sent on trips have told me that when they got home, their approach towards their work has really changed.
Promenade, you know, but we don't use our body the way you use your body. And singing too.
What I see is that the fact that you come here and you play for them and you want to listen to their music and you want to dance the way they dance is what is really important. I mean, you care for coming here and showing your culture, but you want to see what they have, and you want to understand, and you want to listen, you want to participate in their culture. This respect, this mutual respect, is what really counts.
I think the important thing that Project Troubadour adds to diplomacy as a field, and some people have called our effort a track to diplomacy. I think the important thing that we add is that we're working on this very close, human, personal level. Looking at the global condition, the problems that we face, the environment, ongoing hostilities, we believe that we're not going to really make much progress in solving these things if we don't first inform ourselves a little bit more about each other's value system, if we don't put a little more effort into establishing respectful relationships. In other words, you have to sort of take the baby steps before you make these giant leaps. And in the sense of taking the baby steps, we feel that Project Troubadour, in its small, intimate, personal scale, is a very clear role.
Sing on!
来到脚，来到脚，
伸开，伸开，哦，非常高，